Here's your Irontrader. It is Monday morning, so it's time to go to work. So we are going to take a look here at Bitcoin, crude oil, and natural gas. But first of all, we'll take a look here at the US dollar. This video is for information purpose only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any stock or ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have the US dollar, the old Dixie. Now, you can see here where we had this pretty much like a head and shoulders pattern. There's your head, there's your shoulder, there's your right shoulder, and then down she came. Now, when we came all the way down here, we made a nice, good double bottom situation, and then we rallied up here, and now we're kind of like sitting in limbo here, okay? So you're sitting at 104.08. Now, the key to upside here is going to be that 104.11, and then we have this 8-day at 104.18. If we get above that here, you got a really nice, good target here of that 200-day at 104.88 level. Okay, and then what we do is you can rally up here. We just look to the bottom of this candle here, looking at 105.52. We look to the top there at 105.77, and then we'll be looking right here for that 106.14 level, and then possibly 106.61, and then we have your 107.40 level here, which is basically just the top of this candle right here. Okay, so right now here, it's just kind of like a sideways action. But if we can't get through this 8-day, this 21 days, obviously we're not going to that 200-day, okay? So then when you look at this chart, see where you have this like almost like a double top situation, and then we have this series of lower highs kind of situation. So if we lose all this here, we're going to retest this 103.19 level here very, very easily, okay? So that's what you're going to be looking at. But again, when you break this all out here, we do have levels all the way down here at that 100 level if this is broken, okay? So right now the dollar is kind of like weakening, so we got to see how this is all going to shake out. So we look at here on a weekly chart here, you can just see it just kind of like Chop City here, but we had that nice good double bottom situation, had a nice good rally up here, but now we're kind of holding this area here. But right now, when you look at this pole here, and then we look at this like a possible bear flag situation, okay? So I just want to point that out to you here. See this here? Possible bear flag situation. So if that is lost here, this could come down real hard here to that 102 area, and then basically that 100 area very, very quickly here. So if you're trading the dollar here, just always put up a weekly chart here, and it gives you a little bit of more of a broader look, okay, situation. But always look for patterns. See, we have that head, the shoulder, and the right shoulder here, and then we have this sell-off here. Now we have this nice good relief rally here, but again, if we can't hold that 103 level, then we're going to be looking right here for that 102 level, and then back to that 100 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at Bitcoin. Okay, here we have the old Bitcoin. Now, you can see here where we had this really a nice, good trading channel going all the way up here, okay? And then we had a possible bull flag going here, but that was negated last Friday with this big-ass red candle. Now, from last night here video to this here, it hasn't really changed a whole lot. We still have this gap, okay? So let's take a look at the upside here first. So you want to look at today's highs at 82,845, and then we want to look at the bottom of that candle at that 83,800, and then we're going to be looking here for this 85,167. That's your 21-day, and then we're going to be looking for that 85,646. That is your 8-day, okay? Now, obviously, if we can get above that, then we just follow these candles up here. You're looking at 87,785. We'll look at Friday's high, 88,050. We come to the top of this candle here, 88,865. We'll come up to the top of this candle here, 89,380. And then we'll be looking for that 50-day at 92,499. Now, you can see how that 50-day crossed over that 100-day. That's not good, okay? So the 8-day is still above the 21-day, but if that rolls back over here, it'll push that price right on down. Okay, now downside here, what you do is we watch today's low. That's that 81,485 level, okay? So your next level is going to be right here, 81,120. That's what you're trading against. And then we'll come down here to 87.60. And then we'll come down here to the bottom here at 80.40 level. Then we're going to be looking for this 200-day at 78.090 and possible retest of the recent low at 76.735, which is basically just the bottom of that candle. Now, if this does fall down, okay, and comes all the way down and holds that 200-day or even the recent low here, that could be a nice, good buying opportunity here, at least to take it back up to the 21-day and the 8-day situation, okay? This is going to be very, very strong resistance, so just keep that in mind here, that this is not just going to blast right on up here unless there's some kind of a catalyst that would take it up. So on the upside, again, just watch this gap and watch that fill. That's going to become very, very big resistance level, then the 21, then the 8-day. Today, and then on the downside, watch today's low. If not, we follow the candles down, but your big target is going to be that 78.90. Then we have to see what the reaction is once it gets there. Okay, RSI here, 40. It's not overbought, oversold. That could come right on down. There's no divergences. Absolutely nothing. We just had that nice, good rising channel, which is a really good trading channel. And now you have your green is still over your red, but let's see if she rolls over. Now, again, I say this a zillion times, but easy way I trade this is IBIT for the long, BITI for the short. Works very, very nice. Now, here, weekly, I've been pointing out here this 8-day. See how this 8-day crossed over that 21-day? And then look what we have here, okay? So we held that 50-day nicely, but then we ran up and where did it go? Right into that 8-day. See, that's why you trade the charts. If you can't get through that 8-day, it's not going to the next level. It's just that simple. So we got up to it and it pulled back, and now look at where it kind of like a limbo. But what we need on the downside here is if all this here kind of situation here is lost, that 200-day is lost, you want to watch this 50-day because this is going to be very crucial, 697, before we get to that 76, 735 level, okay? So this is what you're going to be watching here because how many times has it held it? Right there nicely, and then nicely. And so we got to see if that's going to hold it again if it comes down into that area. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil, natural gas. Okay, here we have the old crude oil. Now, let's just see what we got here. Okay, so what we have here right now is what we have is called an indecision candle. Okay, so obviously it popped up higher than we had Friday's high. Okay, so Friday's high was 70.09. We got as high as 70.14 level. Okay, so this was your resistance here at that 70.22. Okay, so he came in within 8 cents. Okay, very, very nicely. Now, on the downside, you can see we cracked below that 8-day, but now the price is back above here. So we have this sideways action. As long as we're above that 8-day, it's going to be sideways to up action. However, we have this 50-day coming down, okay? That's sitting right now at 70.44. That's going to be very, very strong resistance. If you can get above that, we have that 100-day at 70.66. And then you crack above that, well, we have this target up here at 72.81. That's going to be your long side. But you have to close above all of this resistance. That 50-day is going to be very, very strong, okay? Now, on the downside here, this 8-day is everything, okay? On a closing basis, that's the key, 69.18. If that's lost, then we can obviously come down to today's low. That's at 68.81. And then we'll be looking here for 67.86 level. That is your 21 SMA here. Okay, so we have other levels all the way down. But let's just today, we're just going to just focus on basically this 8-day on the downside. Okay, and that 50-day on the upside. This is what the range that we're trading. Okay, so just watch that 69.19 on the downside and that 70.44 on the upside. We crack below that 8-day, you're going to go to the 21-day. You crack above that 50-day and 100-day, then we're going to go to that 200-day. Okay, but right now it's just a sideways action. So right here at 53, that could go either way, kind of a situation. Green is over your red. That still shows good momentum here off of this nice double bottom. Okay, but right now we have an indecision candle, and this is trading with the overall market. We're going to see how that's going to shake out. Now, natural gas here, well, this actually is perking up here very, very nicely. Okay, so we had this topping tail, okay? We had this negative divergence, okay? So we got underneath that 8-day, and you can see how strong that 8-day is. See that? Right into it on every course, okay? Now, here was this action here. This was last Thursday. It came all the way down, and it went down to 3.73. We were watching this 3.74, so it came in within 1 cent, okay? That's the key. Held it and then moved right up, but went right into the 8-day. Now, Friday's candle was very, 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 very good. It was a good trade on the UNG. It held the half of that candle, went through the 8-day, and then boom, right into the 21-day. Now, today we have this gap up. I'm not a very fan of those gap up because gaps usually get filled, okay? Not maybe necessary today, but eventually. Okay, so on the downside here, you're looking at that 4.14. That's a gap, and then 4.10. Okay, so there's your gap and there's your fill. We have the 21-day sitting right there in the center of it at 4.12. If that's lost, we have the 8-day, 3.97, and then we have your 50-day at 3.87. Okay, so that would be your downside. But right now here, this is looking pretty good. See how the green here is now trying to roll up, cross above. Your RSI here at 57. That looks very, very good. And we hit a high there of 4.24. So all you have to do is go look to the left of the chart here. This is the target that we're looking for, is this 4.25. So he came within 1 cent. Now, if this thing can keep around and rolling, then your next target here, resistance, is right there, 433, 437, and then 442. That's going to be your next levels. And then we come up 447, 451, and then we have that 455, 458. We look at that 475 level and then 490 level. But right now, one level at a time, we have to get through this 425 level. That's going to be key. So we got to see if we can close above that, then we can just follow the levels up until we maybe even retest this, okay? So that is your upside. Downside, just watch that 21-day. If that's lost, your next target is easily the 8-day. And then we have the 50-day. Okay, just that simple. And then obviously, if that's all lost, we come back down to retest at 3.73 level. Okay, so right now, natural gas is looking very, very good. I'm going to see if it can hold this 21-day or if it does fill this gap today. So we got to see how this shakes out. I'll be looking for trades in the UNG for the long and the KOLD there for the O short. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here midday trading. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, crude oil, and natural gas, and then we throw something else in the old mix. Now, the NASDAQ's down here about 243. Everybody's getting geared up for this April 2nd here on the tariffs kind of situation. But just always keep this in the back of your head. This could be a really, really good buying opportunity. Okay, so just look for opportunities here in the market, long or short. All right, trade what's in front of you. Now what you want.